Today, you're connected more than ever. Your friends, your family, your life. Having a partner that understands banking is what you do on your time, anywhere you like. It's about being connected. Renaissance Bank, understanding you.
Sponsored by Renaissance Bank.
Good morning, Northeast Mississippi. Welcome into Newsbreak for Tuesday, September the 13th. I'm Brad Locke. Let's start things off with a look at the weather. Your weather underground forecast for today. Possible thunderstorms. We're going to see a high of 90 degrees, low of 71. The chance of rain is 40%. And looking ahead to the 3-day forecast, Wednesday, partly cloudy skies, high of 92, low of 71, 20% chance of rain. Clear skies on Thursday with a high of 92, a low of 72, just a 10% chance of rain. But then on Friday, thunderstorms are likely with a high of 88, low of 71. We have an 80% chance of rain. Now let's take a look at some of the top headlines from your Daily Journal. Tupelo Police Chief Bart Aguirre said he expects his department to be fully moved into its new building on Front Street by the end of the month. Workers spent Monday unloading and assembling furniture at the new TPD headquarters, and the final move-in date is about 3 weeks away. Officials had originally hoped to be in the two-story, $10 million facility by mid-August, but minor delays, including information technology and phone line issues, have continued to push that back. Everything must be completely ready for the 34,000 square foot building before officials can shut down the current Lemons Drive operation. That means the computer systems of the patrol and detectives divisions will be the last thing to move. The city broke ground on the complex at the corner of Front and Franklin Streets in April 2015. The new building will include an armory, an exercise room, a spacious briefing room, as well as the evidence storage and the crime lab. All of the police divisions will be brought together under one roof. The building will triple the amount of space and, thanks to concrete construction, should serve the department for 50 years. Efforts have begun to give the Tupelo Convention and Visitors Bureau Center a facelift. Planned additions include more interactive exhibits and a comprehensive timeline of the region. CVB Director Neil McCoy said the goal is to ensure that CVB is a key, quote, touch point for tourists and other visitors to the city. The renovations are expected to cost between $500,000 and $600,000. The detailed timeline will trace the region's history from the time of the Chickasaw Indians through the Civil War, the early years of Elvis Presley, the Civil Rights struggle, and the modern era. There also are plans for more interactivity and for listening stations that will allow visitors to hear some musical traditions that inspired Elvis. The renovations are expected to be completed during the 2016-17 budget year. A Texas couple recently drove nearly 700 miles on a quest to find their roots in Lee County. It all started when Jeffrey Estes of Wharton, Texas, found a box in his grandmother's home full of old photos of unfamiliar faces and 20 ribbons from the Lee County Fair between 1918 and 1922. The ribbons had been awarded to his grandfather for raising fighting roosters. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Estes' wife, Pat, used her love of genealogy to help her husband figure out clues to his family. Jeffrey Estes brought the old photos to Orrin Dunn Museum director Ray Mathis. She scanned them last week and plans to post them on the Orrin Dunn History Makers and the North Mississippi Historical Society's Facebook pages. Some of the pictures depict portraits of stern faces, while others show scenes of friends raising their glasses with smiles on their faces outside a log cabin. Estes said he hopes someone will see the photos and be able to help him identify a distant relative. He said he's driven by a curiosity about where he came from. And in sports, Hugh Freeze is trying to do something no other SEC coach has done, beat Nick Saban 3 straight times. The Ole Miss coach is preparing his team to face #1 Alabama on Saturday, with kickoff at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium in Oxford set for 2:30 p.m. on CBS. The number 19 ranked Rebels, who are 1-1 after defeating Wofford this past weekend, beat the Crimson Tide 43-37 last year and 23-17 in 2014. Freeze is having to deal with more injuries than usual this early in the season, and Alabama has looked strong so far in dominating wins against Southern Cal and Western Kentucky. Mississippi State, meanwhile, hits the road to LSU this week with kickoff scheduled for 6 p.m. on ESPN2. The Bulldogs won their SEC opener over South Carolina on Saturday, 27-14, with Nick Fitzgerald cementing his status as starting quarterback. The sophomore passed for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns against South Carolina, and he rushed for 195 yards, a school record for a quarterback. That's it for Newsbreak today. I want to remind you of a couple of multimedia offerings we have here at the Daily Journal. Capitol View is a webcast coming to you every Monday with Bobby Harrison, our Capitol Bureau Chief, updating us on what's happening with the state legislature. That's every Monday about 2 p.m. You can watch it live at djournal.com. Okay, it's the replay later in the day. Also, the Memo podcast with myself and W. Derek Russell, 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You can find that for free in iTunes or podcast apps or at memo.djournal.com. All the stories I talked about today you can find in your daily journal or at djournal.com. Give us a follow on Twitter at djournalnow, and go give our Facebook page a like as well. That's it for today. I'm Brad Locke. We'll see you tomorrow.